Okay, hey y'all, I'm gonna try my best to record the first video. I've calmed down a lot. I made it to my family, so I don't even know how I'm gonna title this. Probably how I came face to face with a cyber terrorist in Atlanta, Georgia. So back in February 2024, I was in Walmart in Duluth, Georgia, and this guy walks up to me and introduces himself. Hi, my name is, I'll call him Goliath. Hi, my name is Goliath. I just moved here from North Carolina. I have this IT business in this particular city in Atlanta, and I was looking for an administrative assistant and just wondering if you know of anyone who may be, looking for a job or, anything like that. So at the moment, I wasn't aware of anybody. But of course, people are always looking to supplement income, and I have family, and, I don't mind, and I don't mind looking out for people. So I told him, not right off, but, if you could give me your business card, and if I hear anything, I would let you know. So he gave me his business card, and I always carry two phones. So I have a prepaid phone and also my personal phone. So I text him from my prepaid phone number and was like, Trina, like, sent my name. And he was like, okay, I got it. And I was like, okay, I'll let you know, when I get home, you can send me the job descriptions and I can take a look at it. So, if I know of anybody, I could send it to him. So I get home. When I get home, I text him, like, hey, you can send the job description to this particular email, which was not my personal email. And my family know that I don't trust nobody, to be honest with you, but my pastor is teaching me that I do trust. I just have issues with trust. So maybe I need to change that. So maybe I have issues with trust. And so I didn't give him my actual personal email address. I gave him an email address that I just use for, for whatever reason, for people that I don't know. And so he sent me two job descriptions. It was a marketing specialist position and an administrative assistant position. So I briefly looked at it, and I went to his website, just to see was it legit or whatever. So again, I just briefly looked at it. I didn't like go into depth. And so he was, texting me, asked me, did I get it? And I was replying to him like, yeah, I'll get back to you by the end of the week, because I had some family members that I could like reach out to and see if they were interested. And so he kept texting me, just randomly, sending me information about him as far as like, where he's in school at and just different things. And I was like, hold on now, like, you approached me about a job opportunity. Like, why are you, texting me about where you went to school and all of that? Because I don't care. And so he continued to text, and I ignored it. And so the next morning he texted me, good morning. And so I ignored that as well. And so then he proceeds to send me a picture of him, I think like maybe the next day, and was like, hey, this is the guy that you met in Walmart. And so I ignored that as well. So then he calls me from a unknown number, and I answered, just not knowing. And so he was like, oh, hey, this is Goliath. We met in Walmart. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I have the job descriptions, I'm kind of busy. I told you that I would get back to you by the end of the week. And so, we hung up the phone, and I'm like, okay, this dude is a little, creepy. This is weird or whatever. So I knew that I was going to like continue to ignore him from then on. So he, kept texting, and then he was like, if you're married, I apologize or whatever. And so I ignored that. So he, sent some photos of himself. And so all the things that he was sending, I was like ignoring it. So fast forward, and this was in February 2024. So I knew that, that he was a bit weird. However, the website was up, and, I thought it was legit. And then the job descriptions I thought were legit as well. So after about a month, I'm talking to family, and, people are going through things. We're all struggling. Nobody has money right now. So I'm thinking like, okay, this guy, he had 2 positions open or whatever. Let me just reach back out to him to see if they're actually still available. He may just, just was a little creepy or thought that he could, try to talk to me or something. I don't know. But because he saw that I showed no interest, that he understands now. So probably about, it was like a month later, I text him. It was on a Sunday afternoon. I text him and was like, hey, are you busy? Are you free to talk? And so he texted me back. I'm like, yeah, we can talk, in a couple hours or whatever. And so we ended up talking maybe about between 1 and 3 that afternoon. It was on a Sunday. So all of the text message the police actually have right now. So I can't too much remember the times to be exact. And I do want to be very, very on point as I can be. But there is evidence of all of this information that I'm actually giving you. So anyway, so he was like, we can talk, in a couple hours. And so he ended up calling me. So he called me and I was like, I was just reaching out to you to see if the job opportunities were still available. And, he was like, yeah, they're still available. And so I asked him, I was like, is that the reason you actually stopped me? Because now I'm thinking, you reached out to me about a job opportunity, but you proceed to send me pictures of yourself and then also telling me good morning. And if I'm married, he apologized and all of that. So I'm like, okay, like, that's a little weird. So he was like, well, actually, I saw you walk from your car. So I was like, And so I was like, let me just, gauge. Let me, continue to talk just to see, who this guy is, because I don't know what could possibly be happening right now, whatever. So we talked for maybe about 35 minutes that Sunday. So after we got done talking, when I hung up with him, and this was in the daytime, when I hung up, he, was still texting me like weirdly, like quadruple texting. So I was ignoring it and I went to sleep. I took a nap. And when I took a nap, y'all, I had a nightmare. Or a bad dream. It was because it was in the daytime. So it was like a horrible dream. And it was a warning of what I was about to experience with this man. And so, when you have discernment, when you pray and ask God for that, and that's something I've been praying for many, many years. And my discernment is on a, very high level. Like it's on 10,000, like it's very high. And I tell people when I compare my discernment to other people, I'm like, my discernment is on the same level as Steph Curry and LeBron James, play ball. Like, just because I'm not a millionaire doesn't mean that God didn't gift me with something that I was going to need to navigate throughout life. And so I immediately knew that I was about to experience something that I was not prepared for.